Welcome to Between Two Chairs, Demystifying Commercial Real Estate, the podcast that brings you the latest insights and trends on the South Florida commercial real estate market, with your hosts, Fernando Arencibia Jr. and Jennifer Wollmann. In each episode, we dive into the world of commercial real estate and break down complex concepts to make them accessible for everyone. Whether you're a real estate professional, a curious investor, or just interested in the South Florida market in general, Between Two Chairs is the podcast for you. So pull up a chair and join us.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Between Two Chairs. My name is Fernando Arencibia Jr., and with me, as always, is the very fashion-forward Jennifer Wollmann. Jennifer, say hi.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to our second episode of 2026.
I love it. I love this thing that you got going on. I like that.
My hippie. This is my Ibiza chain. I'm channeling Ibiza.
Ooh. For those of you who don't know, Jennifer is really much into electronic music. And so, you know, whenever she's walking in her mind or in the morning when she goes for a run, there's that sound of
Ibiza, baby.
She's ready to go.
Recently been actually listening to a lot more house music lately. So
there you go.
93.5 DJ Marco. Woo! No, okay, there's my shout out.
Well, you heard the sound of our very special guest. So Jennifer, would you do the honors?
Sure, I'd love to. So today we're very lucky and grateful to have Fernando Rosado and Vanessa Dueñas of Day and Night Septic and Grease Trap Company. And Vanessa is also a real estate agent with RESF, Real Estate Sales Force. So welcome, guys. Thank you so much for coming. And
thank you.
Before we get started, tell us a little bit about yourselves. How, are you native Miamians? How did you get into the grease trap and septic business?
So, born and raised in Miami, Hialeah Hospital born. Yeah, so I've been here all my life and know a lot of people here in Miami. Vanessa, I started with, actually, her father and her uncle are the OGs, the original, all right, that started the company Day and Night. And I started working with her dad and stayed with him for 2 years. And then I separated, bought my own truck. Now I have all my own clients. And that's basically how I became an owner-operator. And that's how I got into the business. Thank you, my love.
So we traveled a little bit. I am born in Mexico, but my parents are from Peru. I was raised in Peru. I was raised in Mexico. I was raised in Guatemala. I lived there for many years. But I've been here since 2003, so about over 20 years now. My dad, when he moved here, my uncle had already started working the septic business with Tropical. And when my uncle separated, my dad thought it was a great opportunity to venture with him. And honestly, it's one of those dirty businesses that I love. I can't get enough of. Every time that he would bring the truck over, I was always mesmerized. And when we were growing, when we had our first kid, my dad offered us the opportunity for that,
I wasn't making a bunch of money. I was a pizza man.
I like pizza. We love pizza
I
on the
was
show.
a pizza guy.
Yeah, so he offered us the opportunity. And then after 2 years of working with him, he pretty much sold us his first truck that he had. And that's been our truck ever since. We recently purchased another truck. So that was just growing,
Yeah.
Good. Well, there's definitely a need for it in Miami-Dade County. And it's funny because you said OG and I'm thinking, wait, that's not part of FOG. I mean, it is part of FOG, but he means OG as in old guys, not as in oil and grease. So my brain kind of went split there. But so why don't you tell us a little bit about, I guess, what you do, what your company does, because just saying the title doesn't really explain the wide range of services.
If you don't mind, I'll go first because I have the least interesting part in this company. All right. I just get the clients. I work on getting the customers, admin stuff, And then I'm out there collecting money, like, give me my money. And then
Some would say that's the most
That's
interesting
the most
part, by
important.
the way.
yeah, but it's not the most funnest. Do I have fun stories? Yes, but we could get into those dirty stories later. But that's what I do. Operations manager and just client retention. And then you go, Vince.
And then me, I'm the driver / worker.
Operator.
Operator. Yeah. But yeah, basically what I do is grease traps, storm drains, and and septic tanks. I also repair drain fields. I also, like, if you need to repair a tank or things like that, if you need to do an inspection.
Drain fields.
Yeah. So I do pretty much, think underground plumbing.
Right.
Okay. That's basically what I do. And mostly what I do is the maintenance part. I don't really do too many installations. I do get jobs here and there for installations of like a new septic system or a new drain field system. But like, for example, grease traps, hey, it either has to be engineer or a construction company or even certified plumbers that do that. And that's not us. We're septic tank contractors.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's a
So-
little bit different. So if you want to do like an installation, it's different. Mostly what I deal with is the maintenance of it, cleaning out, any kind
Yeah.
of small repair.
So do you see a lot of septic? I'm thinking of a particular stretch of US 1 down south. Do you see a lot of septic tanks on commercial properties in Miami-Dade County?
And not on commercial,
Mm-hmm.
but in residential areas, yes. Like Coral Gables, South Miami, Virginia Gardens, North Miami Beach, Hollywood.
Pinecrest, Palmetto.
We also do, the other thing is too, we do Miami-Dade and Broward County only.
Mhm.
I don't go up to Palm Beach anymore.
Right.
I used to, but it's takes my whole day away pretty much.
Mhm.
Right. For sure.
But yeah, so now I just do Dade and Broward, and there's plenty of work here, all over the place. Homestead also. Homestead is all septics, Redlands, all those areas.
Yeah.
But commercial, not too much.
You don't see a lot of it.
No.
Okay, good.
You don't see that. I mean, we have
Septic.
had some warehouses that have, that septics that have. She asked have you seen commercial properties that have septic? And we've seen warehouses that have septic.
Right.
Opalaka.
Yeah. So one of the things that happens in, when a restaurateur is looking for a space, especially, a second generation space, is there's a lot of uncertainty as to whether the grease trap that is there is actually going to be useful for them, and they would be able to get a certificate of use to use the same grease trap and all other stuff. But let's first look at the actual inspection of a grease trap. And so what should a potential tenant that is going to go into a space, when they inspect the grease trap, what should they be looking for?
They should be basically looking for retention of like the water
Capacity.
capacity, making sure that
So there's some restaurants that have tiny grease traps, right? And they think that the space is perfect for them, right? But perhaps they're going to increase seating capacity. But if you increase seating capacity, then you have to increase the size of the gallonage of the tank. So that's where Derm's going to come in and be like, all right, you want to have 45 people instead of 15 that you originally had, then you're going to have to get a whole new system. So you need to make sure that whatever you're going to do, if it's already second gen and you're okay with the size, try not to alter seating capacity unless you want to change the whole system. And if you're
Right.
okay with that and you want to wait over, I don't know how many months for a permit, then, yeah.
Talk to us a little bit, because I know that in 2017, I believe there was a change in the guidelines that Durham put out for the grease traps in Miami-Dade County, so that now it's a much more complex system. Can you give us a little background on, because I'm sure you've seen a lot of the old, systems, and now you're seeing ones that have, really, it's almost like three systems into one, right?
Mhm.
And it's huge, even though the capacity doesn't seem to be that large because it's a quick service restaurant. I know that those new systems are more complex. So if you could give us a little background on that, it'd be great.
Yeah, sure. So before, you used to have just one single tank, and they would go by gallons, 900, 1,000, 1,500. It would fluctuate, right, depending on your seating capacity. Now, The way that they're doing it is they're having you install a solids interceptor, which is a small grease trap, normally about 250 to 275 gallons. Okay. Then after that, then you install a grease trap. So it's a solids interceptor that connects to a grease trap, that then connects to a third grease trap, and then goes out to the city. It's connected to the sewer. So they also have a limited flow. Some of them will have smaller pipes, like some of them will have a 4-inch, some of them will have a 6-inch pipe. And so that limits your flow of water, of what could go out.
And I understand that also the tenant, is required to clean it out at a much faster rate than they used to in the past. So from people that have installed that system, what I heard is that they never really maximize the use of the system just because of how often they have to clean it out.
Supposedly it's like 25% capacity, right? With the new systems that you're supposed to clean out when they're at 25% capacity.
Right. But then also that's very hard to
Judge.
Gauge.
to judge and know exactly how much the grease trap is, how full it is, I guess you could say. It'll get full in 1 day, 2 days, depending on your consumption of water. Because remember that it's a big tank and it just retains water. Once it gets to a certain level, then it'll drain out to the city. So normally we do them quarterly. There are some restaurants that have very big grease traps and they'll do it every 4 months instead of every 3 months. And then I have other people that just won't, that they don't care. And as long as the inspector doesn't show up, they're not cleaning it. And so they'll clean it every 6 months, every year, and then they end up paying the consequences.
Right. There's some pretty hefty fines, like the fines for Miami-Dade County if you don't dispose of your fats, oils, and grease fog correctly. It's like $10,000 per incident. So it's not,
and they'll
it's
shut
not
you
just
down.
a little, they'll shut you down. It's not just a slap on the wrist. So
Yeah. And one thing that we're seeing, like, the reason why why do I have to change my tank as opposed to my neighbor that doesn't, right? Let's say. So the inspector will go out there and will inspect the walls of a second generation. Let's say the big tanks, right? Let's not talk about the small restaurants, but the big tanks that are outside. These tanks, because people delay cleaning, the grease gets heavy and it gets stuck on the walls, and then you have to pressure wash, right? And that pressure cleaning is going to whether or not kind of deteriorate the wall little by little, and the weight just pushes down. So one thing that we've been doing with our second generation customers is we will inspect the tank and go inside the tank and repair the tanks. So we'll seal them. That way, if it ain't broken, you don't gotta fix it, right?
Yeah.
Now, if the inspector decides to be like, it doesn't matter, still give me a new tank. But the chances of that happening are going to be slimmer if your tank is in good condition, as opposed to you have a completely messed up tank, get rid of this, and install the new system.
Right. So have you guys come out first before the inspector comes out, right? So that you guys can clean and repair.
Ideally, there's a lot of restaurants that are very good with that they're very on top of them. And think of chain restaurants. Like we have chain restaurants that they don't want to, like, they don't play around. Like, I need you here every 3 months. I need you here every 2 months. Whatever damage you see, fix it. Because it costs them thousands of dollars of days, in days of them not operating. And then the fines. So it's not worth it for them.
One of the things that has been a grave concern to restaurateurs, and listen, some of them admittedly have decided not to take over spaces because of the fact that it's taking so long to be able to, install a grease trap. And those timelines have just skyrocketed. And some people are 14 months trying to get a grease trap installed. I know you don't do a lot of installations, but can you speak a little bit about why that is, why there has been such an increase in that timeline? Excuse me.
I think two types of things are going to connect here. It's going to be our city code, right? So then we'll have construction, and then we have DERM, right? So
and the health department.
And the health department. And zoning a little bit, I think, would have to, plays a big role. But when they're building out these restaurants, let's say, right, Doral had a lot of build out. a lot of retail, and they're building out these spaces, but they're not taking into consideration restaurants. So they're not building out with grease traps. Like, now, is it the developer's responsibility, or is it the owner's, the business owner's responsibility? I don't know where the good mix is, right? Yeah. But it's taking people up to 18 months.
There's another, the other factor is the cost. The cost is through the roof. It's very expensive to install and abandon. Like, for example, if I had a grease trap that had waffling on the walls, waffling means that the rebar is showing and it's gatado.
Right. Wasted.
Right?
Yeah,
you
start
wasted,
to see,
right?
Yeah.
So if an inspector does see that, then he'll ask you to install a new one. But then you have to go to new code, right?
Correct.
Install all the separate grease traps, the solids interceptor, the grease traps, the sample port, like all the different clean outs and things like that.
What are you seeing average wise as the cost when you're having to install with the new code?
Honestly, it all depends on the size, how long the shot is but you're looking at $30,000-$40,000.
Right. Before you even open up.
Before you even open.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you have to take into account, to Vanessa's point, the time that you have invested waiting to get this opened up, and every day that you are losing on actual revenue.
Yeah. So it's hard, I feel, for, not that it's hard. It's hard and it's challenging for new restaurateurs because they have like this idea of the timeline. But I would suggest and invite people to like add to their timeline just a little bit more and prepare for those months, or even work out on your lease, like some type of lease abatement where it's like, I cannot pay you yet. Or either you pay us something, you help us with the build out, because it's gonna benefit the landlord. You know,
Right,
at the end of the day, you have a new grease trap. You don't have an old grease trap. You have a new system. So when they get out, then you could like rent it again for restaurants. So I think it's something that when you get into this is where the commercial part comes in, and you have to make sure that if it's not installed, that you somewhat negotiate with the landlord to help you out there.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about the difference between Miami-Dade and Broward. I know Broward has some of the smaller, they're almost like portable grease traps that you can take them outside and empty them in a bigger drum and then bring them back in, versus the in-ground grease traps, which tend to be more common down here.
Okay,
Tell us a little bit about that.
You have the ones you're talking about are smaller grease traps. Mm-hmm. They're like under the sink.
Mm-hmm. Right.
However, they're still stationary. You wouldn't be able to take them out. Some of them will have a basket to like catch any kind of solids in food and things like that you could empty out even in the garbage. Okay. There's no like code for that or mandate or anything. You could empty out the solids in a garbage and then put back the screen. It's basically what it is. It's a little basket screen. But yeah, those are not getting installed anymore. They're not installing those anymore. If you need a grease trap, you could have a hydromechanical grease trap, which is the same thing. It'll be a smaller one as well. But you're still going to have to do that same, like the solids interceptor, grease trap, sample port, then out to the city.
So the
and both.
So that's still kind of a smaller under the sink version though, or no?
Yeah, they still have those.
Okay.
Those are still there. They still exist. But if, for example, I go to buy one of the restaurants, let's say it's a sub shop. Sub shops don't really use a lot of grease, right? So they have one under the sink. If I sell that business and it changes name and changes like the FOG,
the
GDO, the grease discharge operation permit. Okay, so if that changes, then the inspector's going to go in and be like, "Oh, you can't use that one anymore. You got to put a new one."
But is the code different in Broward than in Miami? Are they, is there, for example, would the timeline be shorter? Or is there more flexibility, or do you see kind of the same thing just because you're required to still have the 3 tanks? Same.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah.
But the pizza place that we have in Miami Beach, that they installed their new grease trap, don't they have 2 or is it 3?
No, they have 1.
They have 1?
They have 1.
Okay.
The Pizza Fiore?
No. The
Which
other
pizza
one,
place?
Lucali.
Lucali. Yeah, Lucali has one, and also it's an indoor grease trap, but it's underground indoor, and it's a big.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Their grease trap is 500. No, I'm lying. It's a 350. I'm lying. It's 350 gallons.
Yeah, those indoor grease traps are interesting. I've seen them in some, dark kitchens, that are in a warehouse, and so those things are really interesting. So I do have a question for you related to your work, Fernando, because I see a lot of videos online where people are just looking at other people, whether they're cleaning like a really old dirty carpet, or they get satisfaction at about seeing people cutting grass. And so is there, you're cleaning out
Are
all
you
of this
asking if they
mess.
have gawkers?
No, I'm asking if he gets satisfaction out of cleaning out, just seeing all that stuff come out, and then just like having a clean space. Or
My satisfaction comes from being able to solve the problem, because normally people, when they call, they should have done this, a few days ago or months
Right.
ago, unless they're like a schedule, right? But yeah, I get satisfaction of the whole part of, man, my kitchen, everything's running great now. Thank you so much. Like, that's what I get satisfaction from.
Right.
But when it comes to the
She's the one who gets that.
I know. I think
She's
that's
like, oh, it's all clean.
I think Vanessa was like, I'm jealous that Fernando gets to do that job. I got the boring part. I gotta get the clients and make them and bring in the money.
One of my favorite parts when I help him is when we have to water jet the pipes and there's grease buildup, and we pull the grease out and it just comes out like this glob of grease. I love it. And he's like, you're so gross. I gotta love it.
No, you're just considering yourself kind of like a heart surgeon who's cleaning out the plaque in the arteries or something,
It's satisfying because then all of a sudden, like once you get the grease out or whatever's blocking it, then the water just rushes in, and I'm like,
yeah. You gotta love it.
We got the clog. We did.
Yeah, I once was in a property, and they had to clean out it was actually an indoor thing. They had to clean it out when they opened it up. I mean, it hadn't been cleaned in years, and it was just solid. I was like, man, these guys are never gonna get this clean. This is gonna be a mess, and all that stuff. But once they got that big part out and everything was cleaned up, there was like, actually, this is in pretty good shape. So I was like, all right, save the deal.
Yeah.
That actually happened to us a couple of weeks ago. We did a septic tank, and he's like, I need your help. And I get there, and the house hadn't been pumped in 20 years. There was solid to the top. I've never seen that. And we've been in this for years. Like, I've seen it where it's solid, but you still have some water, right? So it's kind of muddy. But this is like I have a video on my Instagram. You put the shovel on the top, and it just stays right there.
Yeah.
Just stays right there.
It's completely full of solid. I think, honestly, if I would have stood on it, it would have held me up.
Yeah, it was so bad.
It's supposed to be like 90% water, and then, no, but this thing was 20, 30 years that they didn't clean it. It's horrible, horrible, horrible. We took, 3 hours to clean it?
It was 4.
4 hours?
4 hours.
We took 4 hours when normally I take about 30 minutes because my truck will pump 200 gallons per minute, right?
Yeah.
So I pump fast, right?
And with the pressure cleaner,
and pressure washer. Oh my God, no, yeah. It's the worst house I've ever done, honestly. It was the worst one. But yeah, clean your tank every 3 to 5 years if you have a septic tank. Okay, that's my recommendation.
90 days for grease trap.
Yeah, 90 days for grease trap every 3 months. If you could do it quarterly, great. I mean, if your business is slow or whatever, we obviously understand, right? But code-wise and like rule of thumb, every 3 months.
Yeah.
Well, and I don't know how many people actually do this, but you're supposed to get both, Miami-Dade County requires that a seller or lessor disclose the fact that there is a grease trap and everything else. So if you're a tenant rep, and you're repping a restaurant or a cafe or a hotel or a hospital or a school or any place that has like a kitchen, make sure that you get that disclosure because, they might not be aware that they need to provide it. So, and the thing is that
the thing, Jess, is that Jen, we have to report every time we haul, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the restaurant also, or whoever has the GDO, also has to report it. So the reports are gonna have to match.
Right.
So when they see that we do something but they don't, and they're not doing their part, that's where I feel inspector would be like, wait, these people haven't gone, but like on our report it shows that we did do it. So because we can't go to the facility and dump without reporting what we're dumping.
Right.
Right. And where it's coming from. So you always have that connection.
You have a chain of custody for the grease.
Yeah.
Good.
Yep.
Okay, so now let's get into what's probably Vanessa's favorite part. What are your horror stories? What have you seen, especially in grease traps, that could have been prevented, or things that you've learned that now you have your tenants or sellers or buyers look for, etc.?
Let's see. The horror stories, I think I'm going to go with multifamily. It was these people, they hadn't done it. And the thing with multifamily, the bigger they are, like just think of how much solids are going into these stuff. The one with Joseph.
And the thing is, people flush wipes.
Yeah.
People flush wipes. I've found so many things. I found underwears, socks, whole shirts. I found weaves. I found
Yeah, so
These
many.
are in septic.
Oh,
yeah, this is insected, but this is the what's the one that we do in Joseph's?
a lift station.
A lift station.
Oh, we also
Oh yeah.
Lift stations. With multifamily, you're gonna get like that lift station, right? So the lift station, a lot of people think because the flow of water going out, it's big because you're going to the sewer. You think, oh, I'm good. But when that decides to get backed up, and all your tenants are complaining, you're gonna get health out there. You're gonna get city, like it's a mess. So I think, what's the one that you did that was crazy that they shut down all the customers, all the tenants were complaining. My dad went, Memo went, there was shit coming out everywhere. The parking lot.
Yeah.
It was bad.
So basically, this was one of those situations where they had a septic tank on the apartment building, and there was over 100 doors at this apartment building.
Oh my God.
And they had a very big septic tank, but the drain field collapsed, and the drain field didn't work anymore. So everyone on the first floor, remember all this works with gravity?
Yeah.
So everyone on the first floor is suffering, right? They're having black water.
No.
Yeah.
They're literally not being able to use the bathroom. And at the same time, the people in second, third, fourth floor, they were fine because everything goes down.
So they're
they were
flushing.
completely fine. So all of their shit was going down to the first floor. And this flooded the apartments. I mean, I think it was on Telemundo. I'm pretty sure Telemundo was out there one time when I was jetting the lines and clearing everything out. That Telemundo got there and they were like, "Can we film you?" And I was like, I guess, I don't know. But yeah, it was on the news and everything. So many people were complaining.
Yeah.
People's furnitures got messed up. The walls got messed up, like everything.
So I think for that situation, the landlord, I would say, if you're getting into a apartment building that has a septic, you have a drain field. Like that drain field, you need to make sure there's no cars over it, there's no boats over it, there's no pavers over it, there's not that fake turf,
Asphalt, concrete,
nothing over your drain field. And a lot of people get so, oh, I'm just gonna put this over my drain field, it's fine. It's fine until it's not. And that's the thing with drain fields, is that you see people just think it's the Hulk and it's gonna take it, and it's like, no, your shit's gonna come out.
Yeah.
Your shit's gonna come out.
It's gotta go somewhere.
It's gotta go somewhere.
I love that you used a multifamily example, because I'm not sure how many people think about that.
That's
But I
true.
remember when I was selling a commercial property on 8th Street, and one of the comps in it was mixed use and you could build multifamily. So I was using a recent multifamily comp that happened to be on Lejeune. And I was like, why is this comp so low? Like I couldn't figure it out. So I called the agent and he said that, because I saw what it was listed for, and it was listed around what I thought it would have sold for. And he goes, no, we had a major problem. And I go, what? And he goes, they built on top of the septic tank. So you actually had to go into somebody's apartment, open the tank. And I'm like, how, is that even legal? And he said it was a disaster, and I didn't go any further because at that point, he was like
Seen that.
traumatized. But
We've seen
that a
that
few
a
times.
lot.
really?
We see that a lot. Even in single families, like there's this
The
one
thing is, they'll do
guy.
additions to the house.
Yeah.
All right. And so there's this one guy that did an addition to his house towards the back, right, of the house. And he calls me, hey, no, I think I need to clean my septic. So I'm looking. I can't find it. Listen, you're going to have to run a camera with a locator to locate where the septic tank is. It was on the addition that he did it to the house. It was under his son's bed. Literally. In the middle of the room. That's where, so chipping hammer, breaking the floor, cutting concrete, all that to access the tank, to clean it out. All right. After that, I don't know what he did, but he needed to move that. He needed to get that.
Remember, there's
He
this.
didn't call me.
There's
after
this
that, but-
other one. There's this other one that I thought it was hilarious. This guy calls us. He goes, "Hey, I need you to do our septic." All right, cool. And era un viejito.
Oh, that
And he
bought the
takes
extra
us. No.
tiles and
But he takes us inside the house, and we're like, "Where are we going?" And he takes us to his kitchen, and I'm like, "Is he gonna give us a cafecito or something?" Right? Like I'm waiting to go outside, and he's like, "It's right here. It was underneath the cabinets." And we're like, "Sir, like all the fumes, we can't pump this. Like, and if we pump this, like you need to get out. We need masks. We need a vent. Like
we need vent. Yeah, we need
we
air.
can't pump this here."
Right.
Yeah, poisonous gas, pretty much. And so
We've seen crazy stuff.
after 12 years, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, I think that's that really is a great lesson. I don't think a lot of people think about that in multifamily
At all. Yeah.
So absolutely.
Very
Vane, Fer, thank you guys so much for joining us today on this episode of Between Two Chairs. I gotta tell you, Fernando, I think you gotta take Vanessa out to more of those special
More of those
nightmare
pump outs.
scenarios.
Yeah.
Some of those pump outs.
Yeah.
Let her work the pressure cleaner.
Listen, yo les salgo
Listen,
cara.
she's gotten very dirty before. Like,
Yeah, I'm sure.
especially being when you first start this job, sometimes, man, you'll get covered.
I got covered. Like I've been covered. Like there's nothing you could say or do to me because I've been covered with shit from head to toe.
They say those are the days you go out and buy the lottery.
He had to pressure clean me because I was covered in shit. So there's nothing you
I
could
think
do.
those you film those videos and put them on TikTok. I bet those are your most viral videos. Those and you oohing and ahhing over a slow moving fat blob.
We gotta get better. We gotta
I
get
bet
better at our social for that, for sure.
I have to say, I can't imagine a more intimate moment in our relationship than when somebody has to pressure clean all the shit
their spouse.
off their spouse. Like that's, I gotta say, that's
30 minutes later, I was like, "I'm hungry. Feed me."
I was hungry, and I was like, "How are you hungry? You still stink." Horrible. You got to go home and shower twice.
It's probably like skunk juice. You probably need, tomato
There you
juice
go.
or something to get the
you
to
go.
get the
Bad.
smell up.
Well, buddy,
You
thank
guys
you.
are funny.
Thank you for fighting the good fight.
Yeah.
Thank you guys.
And we'll put all of your contact information and everything in our show notes so people can contact you for inspections and pump outs and prior to emergency issues and everything else. So thank you so much. We really appreciate you coming, and I hope that your 2026 is extra shitty.
Thank you. Yes.
I came from the wastewater industry, so I have a million of those.
I love it. I love it.
Thank you guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. We love having you. Before Jennifer continues with her dad jokes, we're going to close it out here. Thank you guys for joining us on another episode of Between Two Chairs. We'll see you next time. Say bye, Jennifer.
Bye, Jennifer.
Bye.